grab the pack of smokes that was thrown over the fence from the old guy's garden?
No, man. I'm trying to stop.
Ah, well. You know, I think someone in there is trying to help the old geezer stop as well.
By throwing his coffin nails over the fence? Seems pointless. There's no reason for him to kick the habit when he's already so close to kicking the bucket. I say, let the old man smoke.
Have you seen that oxygen tank near his bedroom window? When you can't breathe with the help of your own lungs, it's probably not wise to also breathe through a cigarette. Letting him smoke is basically euthanasia.
Say, Gunther, did you see my photograph? The group photo from the first gathering?
No.
Janus is looking for an old group photo.
Well, it must be
It might be
somewhere
interesting
around.
to see who's on it. The first annual gathering of the Ark Society. That rings a bell. If Janus was its founder, perhaps he's still attending these gatherings, 47. This could be valuable information indeed.
What I wouldn't give for a nice pack of Novaya right now. I remember the first pack I had, back in '67. Nothing will ever come close. Certainly not this thing.
The doctors have recommended you don't smoke cigarettes, Mr. Janus.
I know damn well what the doctors have recommended. I got to be my age by not following their recommendations. Doctors are clueless homicide detectives, poking around random people's bodies, searching for clues as to the cause of death before the patient is even dead. They have no idea about how anything works, guessing their way through fatality after fatality, telling people what they should or should not do with their tiresome recommendations.
You've got the cravings all right, Mr. Janus, but doctor's orders are doctor's orders.
Bah.
Sorry, Mr. Janus. I'll,
Oh, shit! Someone took out Mr. Cassidy.
Sinister-looking basement. What could she be doing down here? A ceremonial robe of some sort with a note from Janus attached. The note is interesting. Janus has asked Helen to do a few repairs on the robe before he leaves for his annual trip. He even put a date there. This is valuable information, 47.
Say, wouldn't you like to come out to the stand and join us, giving away all these wonderful muffins?
Oh, I'd love to, my darling, but I've got to do some sewing. Janus has a dressing gown that needs a few touch-ups, and he's getting anxious. Apparently, he needs it for something soon.
You seem to have so
A
many
robe
things
for
going on,
Janus.
Mrs. West.
What could he need
I
that
don't
for?
know how you find the time.
Well, when you're retired, you can get an astonishing amount of things done. Yes? What can I do for you?
Mrs. West, so good to see you today. The name's Blake, Charles Blake. The third. You will have seen my name at the top of the Homeowners Association letterheads.
Yes, of course.
Well, Mrs. West, as you may have heard, I'm running for office in this fine state of ours, and I just wanted to make sure you knew about my program. You see, I care deeply about the plights of the elderly in our community. And I know you're one of the rare, enterprising people out there who wants to run her own business. Gray gold and all that. Am I right?
Why, yes. I do have a small bakery business, and have had the luck to appear on television in Vermont.
Excellent. Very good. Well, here's the deal, Helen. Oh, can I call you Helen? I think you deserve to grow your empire even further. I want to help you with that. Why sell muffins in Whittleton Creek in Vermont alone when you could be selling them to the entire country? When you could have your own cooking show on national television?
Well, that certainly sounds exciting.
It does, doesn't it? Just vote for me, Charles Blake III, on Election Day, and I promise I will take care of things for you personally.
Well, I will definitely remember that, Mr. Blake.
Excellent.
You have a nice day, Helen.
Hello, young man. This is Helen West of Helen's Muffin Kitchen. We spoke last week about my tax returns? Yes, that's correct. It's absolutely imperative everything is in order. I've had trouble in the past with this sort of thing, and since the business has taken off quite explosively lately, I really need my taxes to be in order. Well, that is wonderful, young man. Just wonderful. I've sent all the receipts electronically this morning, so you should have them very soon. You have them already? Ah, that was fast. Please call me again next week when you've had a chance to review everything. And apologies for calling you on a Saturday. No, thank you.
Helen, how are you today?
Oh, just fine, Janus, darling. It's Saturday, so I've been making a lot of muffins for the town. You know how I love to spoil everyone.
You would have made a good Soviet citizen, Helen. The West could use more people like you. Kind, benign, altruistic.
Ah, well, I don't know about all that. I just feel like giving something back to the community that has given me so much. Speaking of which, when are you coming over? Your robe is ready.
Ah, excellent. I'm still a little sore, but maybe later, if my muscles stop cramping so much.
I would love that.
Me too. Anyway, I will let you get on with your baking. I will call you again later, perhaps.
All right, darling. Why should I have to buy a cordless phone? If he'd just call me on the mobile like I keep telling him to. Yes, this is Helen West speaking. I'm just checking in. Well, no, I have not. My business is growing again, and so I may have to leave the state towards the end of the fiscal year, but I have no plans before that. It should not happen until after my probation period ends. Yes, the final court costs will be transferred from my account within the next 60 days. My accountant is working on it right now, in fact. Thank you. Have a nice day.
I really must find some time to finish my documentation of this piece. To imagine it once stood on the work desk of Lenin himself. A daily reminder of what he fought for. A heavy burden to inherit. I must make sure it gets a place of honor. The twins will likely object to my beautiful donation. Not futuristic enough. Not sufficiently forward-viewing. They would do well to remember that the past is what shapes us, not the future. It took quite an effort to locate you. Stolen by cowardly capitalist spies trying to destabilize the motherland. Lost for 43 years, until you were found by a Polish peasant girl on a former state farm outside Krakow. What might have happened in those years? I must dig deeper to find all the stories. Well, look who finally showed up. You know, Lafayette, in the 2 years you've been coming here, I don't think you've been on time once.
I'm sorry, Mr. Janus. Bike trouble.
More like discipline trouble.
All right, Mr. Janus. But before we begin, we just need you to air those lungs through with nice, big breaths of oxygen. Think we can manage that today?
Well, I don't know if we can do it, but I certainly can. Stop talking to me like I'm a senile old man.
Well, someone certainly got the wrong foot out of bed this morning.
Hello, Helen.
Janus, darling, I was just about to call you. My old colleague from the university sent me a copy of his new book. It's a study on the psychological effects of living in suburban America. I think you'd like it.
Did he conclude that the cookie-cutter design, the unnaturalness of the hasty urban planning, and the feeling of malaise expressed by most residents in suburbs are somehow connected?
Well, yes.
I've had 90-odd years to understand the human condition, Helen. I've lived through some of the most iconic moments in recent history. I shaped some of them with my own hands. Nothing about the psychology of humanity surprises me anymore. If you place people inside big boxes, located inside the big gardens, all surrounded by wide streets and long driveways, you create a prison. Isolation and the sense of solitude is fundamental in the construction of the suburb.
I think you're being a little pessimistic here, my darling. I quite like it here.
The layout of the American suburb is designed to create an impersonal culture that fosters anxiety and fuels consumerism. You can only drive to places from here, and the only places worth driving to are places where you spend money. The suburb is the perfect commercial and capitalistic housing unit.
That sounds very interesting, my darling. Let's discuss this some more once I've read his book. Bye now. I'm just not going to pick up. I'll let the answer machine get it. He's never going to learn otherwise.
Sinister-looking basement. What could she be doing down here?
Right. Almost ready now. So much time wasted trying to keep my true nature in check. This is who I am. Despite that awful year in prison, at least I know now. This is who I was always meant to be. Where did I place the sedative? I'm sure it's here somewhere. Mr. Freeman, it's Helen West. I'm returning your call. Well, while I do find the offer intriguing, I don't think I'm quite ready to go on national television yet. I appreciate your eagerness, of course, but I'm just trying to grow the business a little bit at a time. Oh, I have no doubt it would create a lot of exposure for the company, but, well, quite frankly, I'm not one for the limelight. A few books, perhaps, but live television? Well, all right, I suppose I could have a think about it, but Mr. Freeman, I really have to run now. It's Saturday, and I'm baking muffins for the whole of Whittleton Creek. I must get back to that now. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Freeman. I really must get my things in order down here. What's wrong with me? I can't find anything anymore. Even minute changes to the recipe seem to make a difference. It's more or less advanced chemistry at this point. So many things that can interact. But I have to choose one. The recipe must be perfect. This additive is supposedly tasteless, but it does something to the consistency of the cake. Maybe if I reduce the amount of milk powder to offset the added dry ingredients. The problem is that the milk protein molecules are more complicated and larger overall than those of the additive. It would slightly increase the absorption time, but probably not to the point where the additive would be rendered less potent. If only I had access to Schmidt's blood work. Well, that's all destroyed now, so it won't do thinking about it. Still, it was an interesting reaction, albeit entirely unexpected. I wonder if that plumber has similar allergies.
Well, we certainly put an end to that invasion, didn't we? The sun is nice today. I think I'll take a little nap out here. Leave me. I want some peace and quiet. That was refreshing. I haven't napped like that since the wall came down.
Come in.
Thank you, Helen.
It's so good to see you over here, my darling. How are you feeling?
Better. as I'm sure you know. Nolan Cassidy is well, excuse me, but a real pain in the ass.
I never did understand why you needed to have so much security around you, Janus.
It's been like that all my adult life, so it's hardly something I notice anymore. But this new Herald, well, he's no Schmidt.
You liked Schmidt, didn't you?
I did. But I want you to know that I hold no grudge. I can't say I fully understand why you... Well, I've done much worse. Much worse.
Janus, It was an accident. I want you to know that. He wasn't supposed to die.
I believe you, Helen. You went through things while away that no person of your fragile nature should have to go through. Experiences like that, they change a person. Stir at things deep inside that should not be stirred. This cannot easily be pushed under again.
I think it's always been there. The urge. My brother had pets. They would inexplicably die, and Mother would be furious with him. I enjoyed that. At university, I would spike the boys' drinks just to see what happened. One of them fell from a window and broke his back, but I got it under control until... well...
You know, Helen, this is good. I feel like this opens a new part of our relationship. There are things I know about drugs, poisons, chemicals I could teach you, if you wish to learn. But I think that is for another time. I am tired now. I am glad we talked, Helen.
Me too, Janus. Me too. My true nature in check. This is who I am. Despite that...
There you are. I may have one foot in the grave, but without my smokes, I might as well be dead. As old Trotsky said, just as a lamp before going out shoots up in a brilliant flame.